Right now, right this second, there is a voice in your head. It is commenting on what I am saying. It is agreeing or disagreeing. It is already thinking about something else. What if that voice is not you? What if the thing you have always called your mind, the running commentary that judges, worries, replays, and rehearses, is not a tool you use, but a machine that uses you? And what if that single misunderstanding is the root of almost everything in your life that feels wrong? That is the argument at the center of The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, one of the most influential books on human consciousness ever written, with over 10 million copies sold worldwide. In the next 9 minutes, I will walk you through the 4 most powerful ideas from this book. Not the surface level quotes, the ideas that actually change how you experience your day. The first idea might be the most important thing you hear all week. Picture someone walking down a busy street, muttering to themselves, talking out loud, arguing with nobody. You see them and you think, something is wrong with that person. But Tolle points out something you cannot unhear once you hear it. The only difference between that person and you is that you do it silently. There is a voice in your head that never stops. It comments, speculates, judges, compares, complains, likes, dislikes. It replays conversations from last week and rehearses arguments that will never happen. And most of the time, it is negative. That voice is not you. You are the awareness that hears it. The fact that you can observe a thought, step back and notice it, like watching a car pass on the street, proves that you and the thought are not the same thing. There is the thought, and there is something deeper, something quieter, that is doing the watching. That quiet awareness is your actual self, not the voice, the silence underneath it. Tolle says most people have experienced this for maybe half a second at a time. A moment on a beach where the mental commentary just stopped. A flash during intense physical effort where you were entirely in your body and your mind went quiet. Those were not random. Those were glimpses of your natural state, the state that is always there, buried under the noise. And once you start practicing this, once you start stepping back and observing your thoughts, instead of drowning in them, something shifts. The thoughts lose their power. Not because you fight them, but because you are no longer feeding them with your identity. Try this right now. The next time you catch yourself worrying, do not engage with the worry. Just notice it. Say to yourself, there is worry happening. Not I am worried. There is worry happening. That tiny shift changes everything. The second idea goes deeper. Imagine you're having a perfectly calm evening, and then your partner says one slightly off thing, a comment, a tone of voice, and suddenly you are furious. Not mildly irritated, disproportionately angry, like something ancient woke up inside you. Tolle calls this the pain body, and it is one of the most useful concepts in the book. Every time you experience emotional pain and do not fully process it, a residue stays. It lodges in your mind and body. Over years, this accumulated pain forms something that behaves almost like a living entity. Most of the time it sleeps, but periodically it wakes up and it is hungry. It needs you to think painful thoughts, start fights, dwell on resentment, because that is the only thing that keeps it alive. And when it activates, it does not announce itself. It pretends to be you. It takes over your thinking and your emotions. You become the anger, you become the sadness, and you act from that place, saying things you do not mean, making decisions that hurt you. Tolle illustrates this with ducks. 2 ducks get into a fight, feathers flying, real aggression. Then after a few seconds, it ends. They separate, swim in opposite directions, and vigorously flap their wings. That flapping is the key. They are releasing the energy from the confrontation, and then they swim on peacefully as if it never happened. No duck has ever lain awake at 3 in the morning replaying what the other duck said, but you have. You carry resentment for years, and every time you replay it, the pain body gets stronger. The way out is simply to see it. The moment you recognize this is old pain looking for food, This is not a rational response to right now. The identification breaks. You are no longer the pain. You are the one watching it. And in that watching, it starts to dissolve. The third idea is the one that sounds the most absurd until you test it. What problem do you have right now? Not tomorrow, not next week. Right now, in this exact second. If you actually narrow your attention to this precise moment, you will find something startling. There is no problem. There are sensations. There is awareness. There is whatever is directly in front of you. But the problem, the suffering, is gone. Tolle says that problems require time. They need a past to explain them and a future to project them into. Strip away the story, and all you have is a situation. Situations can be dealt with, accepted, or left, but they cannot make you suffer. Only the mental story makes you suffer. He makes a distinction here that changes how you relate to difficulty. He says your life situation is the collection of circumstances that exist in time. Your job, your bank account, your relationships. Your life is now. This breath, this moment of awareness, your life situation might be difficult, but your life, right here, right now, has no problem in it. The next time you feel overwhelmed, try narrowing the frame. Not next month, not tomorrow. What is the one thing in front of you right now? You will find that the present moment is always manageable. The overwhelm was never about now. It was about the mind projecting itself into a future it cannot control. And the fourth idea ties everything together. Tolle uses the word surrender, and most people immediately misunderstand it. They think it means giving up, lying down, accepting a terrible situation and doing nothing. That is not what he means. He gives an analogy. Imagine you are stuck in the mud, up to your knees. Surrender does not mean saying, well, I guess I live here now. Surrender means fully accepting that in this moment you are stuck in the mud, not wishing it were different, not mentally fighting reality, not adding suffering on top of the situation. And then, from that place of acceptance, you take action. You dig, you call for help, you try a different angle. But the action comes from clarity, not from panic, not from the ego screaming that this should not be happening. This is the core distinction. There is a difference between resisting what is and taking action to change it. Resistance is mental, the voice in your head saying this is wrong. Action is practical. It deals with what is actually in front of you. Surrender removes the resistance. It does not remove the action. He gives one more image. Imagine walking through thick fog at night. You cannot see where you came from or where you are going, but you have a powerful flashlight that cuts a narrow, clear space in front of you. The fog is your life situation. The flashlight is your conscious presence. The clear space is the now. You do not need to understand the fog. You only need to deal with what is in the beam. And that small circle of clarity is always manageable. When you stop resisting, when you fully accept this moment as it is, even if it is painful, something extraordinary happens. The pain remains, but the suffering around it dissolves. There is the raw experience, and then there is space, stillness, a peace your mind could never manufacture because your mind was what was blocking it. That is the heart of this book. You are not your thoughts. Your pain has a pattern, and it feeds on you. You have never had a problem in the present moment, and surrender, dropping the fight with reality, is not weakness. It is the doorway to everything. I condense this to the biggest ideas, but Tolle's chapter on relationships, why love turns to hate, why your partner triggers your deepest pain, and how one conscious person can break the cycle, is something you do not want to miss. The full deep dive is on the channel now. If this shifted something for you today, subscribe. I break down one book at a time, and every single one has the power to change how you think. And remember, you are always one book away.